Welcome to Telling Our Stories. My name is Josh Johnson with Regency on the Lake. I relocated to Davidson, North Carolina, the Lake Norman area, in October of 2024. We started telling our stories so you, our viewers and listeners, can connect with our clients in the communities that we are a part of, from Western North Carolina to the Charlotte area. Welcome to the show, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. So, we just had our 4th of July Independence Weekend celebration all over the country. Here in America, celebrated America's birthday again, and very fortunate to be able to do that. My name is Josh Johnson, and I am with Regency on the Lake, and this is our podcast, Telling Our Stories. And today I have with me some special folks, new friends, old friends, folks that work with me. So I've got Courtney Price, who works with me in my office. I've got Tiffany Weber with Thomas & Weber Law Firm, and they also go by Law at the Lake, correct?
Like Regency on the Lake.
Like Regency on the Lake. That's the only difference. We're on the lake, you're at the lake.
Yep.
And then I've got Mark with Ashmont Title.
Yes,
and
sir.
Mark, your last name again?
AB. Yes.
Yeah, it's Abe or AB for me in my brain, and I didn't want to say it incorrectly
I
again.
hear it a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So anyhow, telling our stories, what we do. My business is all about relationships. I mean, every deal I've done in real estate has been someone I've known, someone I've met that's became a lifetime long friend, whatever. So part of our whole reason of doing this is giving our folks, clients, new clients, potential clients in the future, a little snapshot of picture of people we work with, just like a little behind the scenes look of how we met, how we know each other, what brought us together originally. And then we just talk. I mean, honestly, it's as raw as it can get. I mean, Mark probably got more of a breakdown of how these go than anybody else ever has. And I mean, we never plan anything. So, I mean, everything's all game. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But I will start with a question and kind of just a little background. I mean, Mark and I grew up in the same hometown. He actually married a girl that grew up in my hometown. He's from there as well. And his wife's brother and I went to school together. And Mark, I'm going to let you expound on Ashmont Title, which is a title insurance company that everybody uses when they do real estate closings. And Tiffany, you can tell us the purpose of that more efficiently than I can in a moment as well. But Mark, tell us a little bit about Ashmont first and how Brett Summey is who I went to school with, and he's one of the owners there at Ashmont. And I love the company. The reason I love the company myself, other than Brett and I being friends, is the fact that a certain percentage of what you all make goes back to lots of charities, foundations within the communities that we live and serve.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, is at the heart of myself personally and Regency on the Lake. I mean, we're involved, again, in community and relationships. But tell us a little bit about Ashmont.
Ashmont has been around for about 5 years. Brett approached me about 5.5 years ago and told me about his new venture. He's a dermatologist by trade, but he's really a serial entrepreneur. He and one of his business partners, Michael Fink, were playing on a golf course, joking around. He said, if I get this within 1 foot of the hole, he said, we're going to form a title business. So he hit it near the pin, and they looked at each other and they said, this is a sign. So he approached me. We're having dinner, and he said, let me tell you about my new venture. Told me about, Ashmont Title. He already had the name. And, my first question was why. I had a lot of experience with rentals. I'd done 1031 exchanges, so I knew about title insurance enough to ask the right questions. And he said, well, I'm not going to make a dime off of this. I don't need it. He said, every bit of it's going to go back to nonprofits here in Northwest North Carolina. I said, okay, I'm a little bit intrigued. What's your platform or your foundation? What's your footprint? And he said, well, we're just going to do it up here in Watauga, Ashe, Avery, and Wilkes County. And I asked him, well, why not just take it all over across North Carolina, all 100 counties, take it into South Carolina? And he said, I don't have the bandwidth. And that's where I came in. I said, let me just take over sales and operations, expand it across North Carolina, South Carolina, and grow it into something big. Because I really liked the altruistic nature of it. I thought that would resound with a lot of the attorneys that we were going to work with. And it took off from there. We hired our first underwriter. She's a godsend, probably the pulse of our company. And, when I was out visiting with attorneys, it really, really resonated. And I think that's how we grew so quickly.
Mm-hmm. In Ashmont, unique fact, in my opinion, the name.
Oh, yeah.
In school, when I went to school in West Jefferson, and obviously Brett and I went into Beaver Creek, and one of the little local parking lots that we'd all hang out at and where people skateboarded and whatnot, that little area was referred to as Ashmont.
It was.
And so, I mean, it's everything I believe in as far as like your roots, where you come from and your community, and then being able to give back. And I mean, Brett, like you mentioned, I mean, not making a dime off of it. I mean, it's just really that heart and soul that I love. And I really feel like that's contagious. And you kind of mentioned that with the attorneys. And Tiffany, that's obviously you guys.
Certainly how I felt. I mean, meeting Mark and hearing about Ashmont just doing something different that's not the same song and dance we get from other title companies when they come in the office. And, it's like, title insurance rates are regulated. It's not like any of them can give a better price on something. So how do you differentiate? And boy, have they differentiated. So, I mean, even in our local community here in Mooresville, knowing that there are funds that are going back to organizations that we care about, that we know help women and children that are homeless, that it really makes a difference to me. And so I've always appreciated, the just being upfront about why are you in this business?
I mean, it truly is the best part. And we hand out donations every 6 months, and to get the feedback from the different nonprofits that we donate to, a lot of them will call, and we vet everyone. We vet every charity. But when they call and they're like, why did you donate? What's going on here? Because we haven't heard of Ashmont. So it's a way for us to become a little bit more involved with the charities and learn more about the charities. As long as it's a legitimate charity, we'll go ahead and donate to some of the charities I've never heard of. The French Bulldog Society, I'd never heard of that. But, looking into it, it was a great, great charity. But then a lot of the money going toward autism, going toward domestic violence, obviously we're all well aware of what happened in Western North Carolina. So a lot of the funds going toward the Hurricane Helene relief. It means a lot. It means a lot. So, I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. Courtney.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. And if you've got questions too, shoot them.
Ask away.
Yeah.
I am Courtney. I'm with Regency on the Lake as our office manager, admin assistant, transaction coordinator, little bit of everything. I have been in and around real estate since graduating college. My mom has been in the industry for over 30 years, so always knew I wanted to probably land somewhere there just watching what she did. I went to college at Western Carolina in the mountains and fell in love with them, decided to stick around just a bit. So I lived there in Ashe County, where I met my son's father. So we were living there engaged and found out that I was pregnant with him, and things were not going the way that we thought they would go, as that happens sometimes. So needed a change, needed to get out as soon as possible. Moved to Watauga County, not too far away. Took a job in real estate also there. And things were still downhill, not great. Still needed to get further away and remove myself. So I was looking for jobs pretty much any and everywhere else but there. So my brother actually has been in and around real estate, also on the loan side, which I also have a background in as well. So I'm like, if you know anybody, please, like, I will pretty much do anything to get us out of here. So he was like, yeah, I'll ask away, Turns out his boss, they were looking for somebody, but had kind of already committed to somebody else. So that didn't work out. But he was like, if I know anybody, if I hear anything at all, you'll be the first person I call. I will let you know. And literally within days of that, I was coming back from a birthday trip that I had taken in the airport and got a call from Josh. And he left me a voicemail and was like, hey, I got your information from Mark. I heard you might be looking for a job. We have an opening. Would love to talk to you. So I called him back, and after doing some research, I'm like, oh, like Ashe County, like, no, there must have been a misunderstanding here. Like, I'm trying to get away from there. That is not it. And so I called him, and he's like, no, that's not, like, no way. Like, I heard a little bit about the situation where actually we've opened a new office at the lake, and we need somebody there to kind of do exactly what you do. And I'm like, man, this sounds too good to be true. But yes, like, when can we meet? When can we talk? I live, I'm living in the mountains now. I'll need to find housing. I'll need to find daycare. There's a lot of stars that will have to align, but I'm in, yes, I'm all about it. So came down, met with Josh and Andrea, and immediately just felt like it was, I'm going to get emotional. Yeah. Like, I get chills now talking about it, but.
I mean, it was really, part of the story that you didn't even hear, like Mark, to make this story, this whole thing's been a God thing. I mean, honestly. Higher power, Buddha, whoever God is to you, it's been whoever, the maker of the stars, the maker of the earth, has coordinated all this. For me, God's Jesus, God of the Bible. But I ended up in Mark Scarrow's townhome when I moved here. And Mark works at Movement Mortgage. And so I'm renting that place. And we're like, we may end up here, we may not, but we're going to. And because my wife's she's a woman, let's be honest. She's like, I got to see if I like the town. We got to check out the schools, which all have been fabulous. I mean, Davidson is everything we dreamed of and then some. Yeah. And Mark and I became close. And I was like, Mark, I'm going to buy your townhome. It may not be home forever, but it's where we're supposed to be at the moment. And obviously, we had already connected on the business side because he knew I did real estate. So he's like, you got any mortgages? Send them my way. And total random, he didn't know that we were looking for an admin person. And he called me out of the blue after he met with Courtney and was like, hey, I met with somebody when y'all were looking. We would have hired her, but we already made a decision. But she's amazing. I'm like, well, I really need somebody, so send her info to me. And I called her, and as soon as we met, there's more to the story. Courtney told her story. My wife, some background on me, when I married my wife, I got 2 for 1. My wife had a 6-month-old baby when I met her, and I got a wife, and I got my first child. So she started sharing her story a little bit during the interview. And when we first met, I don't think she'll mind me saying this, she was a little down and out, a little, like, I need a job. I need to get back home to my family, And I was like, Courtney, I'm going to give you hope here. Even if you decide you don't want to work with me, I said, let me tell you about me and my wife. And I started telling her that, and she's tearing up in there. And I'm like, okay. And then some other family members of hers have went through some things that I've went through as well. And that all came out during the interview because I'm the type of guy that sits there and I'm like, okay, any skeletons you've got, throw them out. Let's talk about them. I don't mind skeletons. They don't scare me, but I love honesty. And I'm like, and transparency. So I'm like, anything bad, ugly, I don't care. I'm not going to judge you, but let's get it out so I don't have to hear it from somebody else. So she started sharing, and then I shared, and then we're like, holy cow. all the stars, like she said, came into line. I mean, her housing we found in 2 weeks.
Wow.
We found a property. Honestly, it's not even a mile from our office.
Nope.
It's what, 0.2 of a mile to a park for your son, Willie.
Yeah, it's such a great place to live. And your son is adorable,
amazing.
by the way.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So
He's,
cute.
He's the best.
But anyhow, it all intertwines again, like just like with Brett,
just a
starting that
reminder.
company. I mean, everything I've ever done in business and my, like, whatever you want to call it, I say it all the time, but God first, family second, work third. And I've always found if I keep those priorities like in line, everything seems to typically work out.
Yeah.
Tiffany, back to you and how I met you was through Mark.
Yeah.
And obviously, I did not know one lawyer in this area as far as who to work with real estate. And I'm talking to Mark. He's like, hey, I heard you moved. We know you were using us up in the mountains, but we want you to use us down there now. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's get together. He's like, well, I want to bring some folks I work with. I'm like, let's do it. So, I mean, that relationship led to you, which you haven't even touched on yet. But, I mean, you have like, you're above and beyond like a typical real estate closing attorney in my mind.
I appreciate you saying that, but I don't feel like it most days. But that's really kind of you.
I think you are, and you've intertwined things like the social media and podcasts and whatnot. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think back to one of my first closings as a consumer that there's a reason I'm bringing this up because it influences how I practice law now. And I remember my husband and I, we were selling a house. We went to the attorney's office and I was practicing law, but I wasn't in real estate yet. I was doing litigation. So I don't know if the attorney knew that I was an attorney and he was just like, yeah, just give her the paperwork. I don't know at all. But he just slid a stack of papers to us, didn't even say more than 10 words to us the whole time. We signed, we walked out, and I looked at my husband and he's like, I hope you know what just happened because I don't. And I said, to be honest with you, I don't either. I was like, I mean, I know I saw a deed and that's, I know enough to know that we got to do that. But the rest of this, I don't know. I'm assuming we're done, but I don't know what happens next. I don't know any of that. And when I finally, not long after that, I'd made the switch into real estate. And I resolved at my closing table that I didn't want anybody to walk away from that table feeling the way I felt that day. So sometimes that means you got to take a little bit longer than the allotted time to help people understand things. Sometimes sometimes you got a really savvy buyer or seller that they're like, I've done this so many times, please stop talking, and you just got to recognize it. But with that came along what we called the FAQ videos. We just started simply making explanations of what is the earnest money deposit? What is the due diligence period? What is the due diligence fee? Because there are things that we take for granted because we do it every single day. Buyers, they're searching this stuff. And we started that in I guess we'd started doing a little bit in 2019, but we weren't putting it on YouTube. And then in 2020, we seriously started posting on YouTube. And it just eventually took a life of its own. I mean, as you guys know, the growth on the internet is slow. And we didn't begin posting for the purpose of having a YouTube channel, but now we do. We just started posting so that people could find information and we'd have a place to put it all. But yeah, it's like it took 4 years to go from 0 to 10,000 subscribers and then 8 months to go from 10 to 85 or something. It's like, it's weird, the overnight success took 5 years to accomplish, right? But we only do it for the sake of helping people understand stuff. I mean, it's like, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a real estate attorney. I just happen to use YouTube to help explain.
Yeah, and I can explain title insurance, but I would rather hear an attorney's perspective and also Mark's perspective on that because I get asked that question a lot. I feel like that my answer is sufficient, but I'd much rather have you describe it.
I guarantee your answer is sufficient. I'll tell you from the attorney's point of view, because in North Carolina, we have some rules that if you are the closing attorney, you cannot also sell the title policy. Some states allowed that to happen. That's why a lot of states close with title companies. But in North Carolina, that's just not how we do it yet. So when I tell people that I would never go without title insurance. I feel like they are like, okay, so she doesn't make any money off of the title insurance, and she's telling me I really need it. And I think that kind of helps lend some weight to when I'm telling a buyer why they need this stuff. But it's depending on the type of policy you get, it looks back in the chain of title to insure you over any defects. So, a previous forgery of something. Now you still got to do your due diligence. It's all based on a title certification of reviewing the title records. There's still some exceptions, like if you could have gotten a survey and you chose not to, and the survey tells you something really bad, that's something that you're taking on at your own risk.
While you're talking, not to interrupt you.
Oh, no, please do.
While you're talking about the survey, this is a new one to me. I just heard of it recently, actually. But with the survey, there's something now about cyber internet type issues. And if you don't have a survey, and I don't understand this fully. This is a true raw question. You may not
I may not know the details of this.
I recently just heard about it like 2 weeks ago, and it's something to protect the identity on a cyber level as well as a real level now.
Oh,
and a survey is required for that.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. Are you talking about the enhanced policy of title insurance?
I believe so.
I think it might depend on the title company because each one has slightly different requirements for issuing that enhanced policy. But we have moved our firm to entirely wanting to use the enhanced policy unless somebody signs something opting out because of all of the seller impersonation fraud that's going on. Okay. So a standard policy, and Mark, please jump in at any point. But
you're doing great.
The standard policy looks back, right? So anything passed in the chain of title, you'll be insured against forgeries in the back chain of title, but the enhanced policy is forward looking. So if you have a post policy forgery, meaning if you own a property and somebody pretends to be you and sells it and it doesn't get caught, then the enhanced policy is going to cover you for that. And I think some companies do require that you have a survey in order to get that policy issued. Yeah. But a survey is a good idea anyway.
Yes, it is.
And the enhanced policy is such a great value for a consumer, especially in this digital age of all the fraud, that it's like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, and the number of enhanced policy requests that we've received, it's increased exponentially, and it's just an added level of protection, and that's what it's all about. It's just protecting the buyer of the house or the land.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that can happen, but I mean, it does happen.
Oh, can I tell you about the ones we stop in our office?
Yeah.
We had one that came in. The contract was not a standard contract, and that's okay. Sometimes people, they want to go it alone and they make up their own contract. That doesn't immediately make me think that it's a fraud, but it does. It's just one of many red flags to look out for. It was a fire sale, it was below tax value. So that's another red flag to look out for. The seller would not talk to anybody in any means other than through like WhatsApp, et cetera. Would not get on the phone, would not get on a video call. So one thing we do in our office is when we get a vacant land contract, no matter what, we're looking up the address on the tax card, and we're sending a letter to that address by overnight delivery so we can verify where it went and who signed for it. Just to say, hey, we got a contract and that's part of our fraud prevention efforts. We just want to make sure that you're in fact selling this. If you are, no problem. But if you're not, call us right away. And the things that we've been able to stop just by that letter alone. But then after that, you got to keep following up because maybe, the letter slips through the cracks. You never hear from somebody. They always insist on using their own notary. Well, guess what? The notary's fake too. So we don't let a seller mail away on a vacant land use their own notary. We got to pick them, and they'll fight us on that. So yet another red flag. They're really raising Cain about us picking the notary, and then they never show up to the appointment because they're still hoping till the last minute that they can get us to not make them use the notary. So that's a way to kind of thwart the vacant land scams. We had another one recently where an interested buyer had asked us to just do a title search. And this one, we would have figured it out under our processes, but the serendipity of this was insane. We needed an estate file to be able to do the title search. So our courier goes to the county, And she's up there asking the clerk for the estate file. Well, lo and behold, the estate attorney just happened to be there at the same time filing something for a different client and says, oh, are they actually selling that property? And our courier says, oh, I don't know. The firm that sent me up here just got asked to do a title search. So the attorney for the estate calls the estate's representative and is like, we're not selling anything. Why would somebody be doing title search on our property? So the buyer was legitimate. The person who had contacted us was legitimate. The person they were talking to was not. So we were able to catch it before they even got a contract, thanks to just that weird timing. But it's everywhere.
Was that vacant land as well?
Yeah.
So typically it is vacant land, but it doesn't mean it's strictly vacant land.
Yeah. But unencumbered for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little bit easier for the individuals out there trying to scam to call and say, hey, I've got a vacant lot. Will you represent me? Talking to real estate agents, will you represent me? And then it takes a life of its own. And if it ever records, it's a mess, right?
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yep. And that enhanced policy does cover that.
Yeah, okay. After you buy the property. And there are some exceptions. It's got to be depending on the company. Like a lot of them are, and I don't remember exactly Ashmont's requirements, but it's got to be meets and bounds under 25 acres or platted. At least one dwelling, or you got to have a dwelling on it. So there's things that go along with getting that enhanced policy because title insurance companies, the goal isn't to have to pay out on a bunch of claims, right? The goal is to minimize the risk up front. And that's why on those title commitments, there's things you got to clear to be able to get the policy, right? And it's so that the goal is to never need it. But if you need it, it's there and it's going to cover far beyond, what you would have if you declined title insurance altogether or if you opted for the standard policy.
My most interesting story in real estate that involved title insurance was with an attorney who had no ethics and was closing properties but not paying off existing mortgages and using that money themselves. So they were, I'm not sure that embezzlement's the correct word, but they were.
Oh my goodness!
So these mortgages were not getting paid off; they were being delivered to the attorney.
Oh, I know the story.
Yeah, and the attorney was keeping the funds and building their dream.
Oh my gosh!
And folks who had purchased title insurance that had already sold that never got paid off, got their mortgages paid off. Folks who did not have policies, unfortunately, got stuck with a mortgage on a home that they didn't have any longer, that had already transferred title, and a new mortgage on a home that they owned.
Yeah.
Which was insane and horrible.
Yeah.
But that was my best story of title insurance is necessary. And this wasn't just professional. I was involved in that personally myself.
Oh my gosh.
I had a closing that went through that attorney's office. And this is an attorney you would never think that would do this.
Never.
But I mean, pulling a lot of years right now. So, I mean, it's not a good thing. But Mark, share your side of that a little bit if you.
In terms of that attorney?
Or just that scenario that happened, because I know you guys may have had policies or.
I know we did. That was well before
Yeah,
Ashmont was formed. Yeah. And, I know the individual that you're talking about. And it's really sad because, such an intelligent individual and very successful. It's just unfortunate. I think that, you try to get away with one thing and then things start to snowball. A little bit of a Ponzi scheme, I think involved there. But unfortunately, I think she's still in prison. So, it will catch up with you. It will catch up with you. And the thing about, title insurance, just going back to that and what Tiffany was talking about, a lot of home buyers really don't know what title insurance is. I would say 99%.
A lot of lenders too. They
don't, exactly.
They don't know how to tell you why you need it. They just say you got to have it. Or,
And for the longest time, I don't even think a lot of realtors actually understood what title insurance was. So 99% of the people don't. And title insurance, fortunately, is just a one-time premium. It's, in the grand scheme of things, it is not a lot of money. No. Even with an enhanced policy tacked onto it, it's not a lot.
It's really
you never
not
know.
Much more at all. No.
You never know what it is until you need it. And, I've run into situations where, I needed actually an attorney when we were selling a house, the buyer's attorney. They went ahead and did a survey, and they were going through all the title searches, et cetera, and found out that we had built this wall, or I had built this wall. My wife didn't. Built this wall all the way around her house and built it 1 inch on the property adjacent to us. So, of course, they weren't going to provide a clean title on top of that. And I just had to go through the necessary steps just to get an encroachment, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And
we've done that too. It's okay. The same thing, retaining wall.
Exactly.
But the neighbor knew it and agreed. We knew up front, thankfully, but I've been there too.
Well, unfortunately, I had cemented that. It took me 9 months to build. I cemented every single block together, and it was going to take dynamite to tear that thing apart. It was not coming down. But, that was my first, I think, introduction to what title was all about. Mm-hmm. I never understood it then. And then once I started buying rental properties and starting to become more acquainted to it, or with it rather, then that's when I understood that it's a necessary part of the entire transaction, but a small part, a very small part.
So I was going to say,
go ahead, Courtney.
That's one of the most probably common questions I feel like I get from buyers, both on the real estate and mortgage side when I was on that. And like you said, the realtors, a lot of them don't know how to explain it. And so they'd call the loan officer and they would be like, I don't really know either. It's a requirement for us, but you should call the attorney, so it's just like no one really knows, right. But I think, like you said, it's definitely something that's needed for sure.
I think you touched on one of the reasons why a lot of folks ask those questions. So many of our buyers that are moving to North Carolina are out-of-state buyers now. And the states that they're coming from, it's a different procedure.
Yep.
And I mean, it's an education. I mean, you're actually learning. I mean, one of my clients that I had before, she said, you stop learning, you become irrelevant, you're unemployed, basically.
I like that.
Yeah.
Where's my notebook?
Yeah. Right. But I mean, it's kind of, you've got to be able to explain the importance of it, and you're not going through a title company like you mentioned before. So, I mean, in my business, it's become a necessity to know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm learning about that enhanced policy. I didn't even know the correct terminology for it, but I knew that it somehow protected you from future fraud and cyber. And I guess it's just they use the cyber language just because all of it's so vague and you never meet the people, and which we do remote closings a lot. Those are feasible, but you've got to prove who you are and go through the right procedures like you mentioned as well. But,
that's the trick right there.
Oh yeah.
I've had so many people say when they're going to close, and I'm like, don't forget to bring your photo ID, and they're like, why would I need a photo ID at closing? And I'm like, I don't know why. That's a great question. I don't know, but it's just like
because the notary doesn't know you.
So many questions, and I don't know if it's because it's just such an overwhelming process. Sometimes it just is. They get lost, but they're like, I don't know why we need that.
The photo ID thing. This just changed. North Carolina is now allowing you to use your ID for driving privileges for a certain amount of time, even after it's expired. But it doesn't matter for identification. So I think we're going to have an influx of people that are like, well, North Carolina says I can still use this for 2 years. I'm like, to drive,
right,
but not for me to identify you. So there's, we're probably going to have people with expired driver's licenses thinking that because you can drive with it for longer means you can still show up to the notary.
If the state could get the Division of Motor Vehicles more efficient, we wouldn't have that issue.
Right.
Well, I mean, it wasn't, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago where TSA said you no longer can use your Costco card to go through the TSA lines? So, they're cracking down. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. No. I mean, that is a fact. And, I mean, this is going so far away from what we're talking about because you said we could talk about anything. I'll tell you a funny story. So my wife and I, Brooke and I, were down in Alamorada, down in Florida, and we were finishing up our trip. We drove the car back to Miami, and turned it in. We were going through security, or actually not even before security, at the checkpoint where they asked for your ID. And she realized she's lost her driver's license. And so we're like, oh my God, what in the world do we do? And the lady was so nice. And I mean, it was packed. I mean, there were so many people in line. And she took us to the TSA agent and explained the situation. And she said, do you have anything else with your photo on it? Brooke pulls out a Costco card. It's the only thing she had. She's looking at it, and I'm like, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, why would you give that? And she said, okay, go on.
Oh, wow.
And we walked straight through there. And I thought that we had really gotten away from with something, but I mean, it's just a few weeks ago that TSA came out and said, we are here to tell everybody you no longer can use your Costco card. So who would have known?
Well,
so, sorry, that was my tangent.
I actually have, can I add to your tangent a little bit? Yeah. So my husband just had the same thing happen to him. He didn't use the Costco card. And this is so, if y'all knew my husband, this is so unlike him. So when I got the phone call from him, knowing that he's supposed to be getting on an airplane in a very short amount of time, I'm like, what is up? He's saying, he calls me and he's like, can you go see if my ID, and I'm like, this is not a good start to this phone call. I had seen the night before of this trip, he had his ID and a debit card sitting next to his wallet. And I figured he had a reason for that. He must have been buying something on the internet and just hadn't put it back in there yet. And as soon as he said that, I was like, he grabbed his wallet. He didn't grab his ID. And I walk out there and it's still there.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I'm going to miss my flight. Let me call American and see if they'll reschedule it or like help me get rescheduled. So he leaves the airport and it's like, he's like, I see on the Apple card paying for parking to exit. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. He calls American and American says, do you, and he blamed it on our 3-year-old just to get the sob story going. He's like, my daughter was playing with my wallet. It's in her Barbie playhouse. She doesn't have a Barbie playhouse. Please don't tell American Airlines.
It's out there now.
Yeah.
It's out there.
And they say, go back, take everything in your wallet, go back. Let's try to get you on this flight. So he goes to the desk, same thing. They kind of take him through to the front of security. And I'm like, how is this happening? Like, do they think he's big? He played football in college. So I'm like, they think he plays for the Panthers because that used to happen and he didn't. But, I'm like, I bet that's what it is.
You got to play that one up.
And I think he was even like wearing like Panthers gear or something. I'm like, that's what it is. I think he plays for the Panthers. So they take him up to the front and they're looking for like, give me everything you've got. And then finally he said, can you pull up your social media? And he pulls up his Facebook. And because he's like, oh, you're verified, that helps. I was like, what do you mean that helps? I guess because they go through this process where they have to mail you something and prove you are who you are. And that was the thing that helped him get through security.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh. I couldn't believe it. I overnighted him his ID. But
they tried to verify me on Facebook and Instagram the other day, but it was with a charge. And I was like, why do I need to be verified? But now maybe I need to go and pay some money. I was like, well, what am I paying for to be verified? I know who I am.
Yeah. What do they say on Mickey Mouse Clubhouse? We'll understand that. Y'all might not. This is a useful tool that we can use later.
Yeah. So anyhow, Tiffany, you're located here in Mooresville.
Yep.
I do not know the address. What is the address?
This is 514 Williamson Road.
Yeah. And Williamson Chapel's just up the hill.
It is.
And Eddie's on the Lake is right here across the street. So everybody knows where Eddie's is.
Yes, they do.
I know. So, I visit there often. It's close to the house and good place to eat.
Yeah.
But
get there on the boat.
Yeah. Yep. And Mark, you are everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
You're the sales guy for Ashmont.
Right. Our headquarters is up in Boone, North Carolina, but I'm in Raleigh. I like to say I'm in Pine Knoll Shores as well, since we have a place down there. It gets me all over the state, but I travel the state. The state and come here as much as I can to see Tiffany. Yeah. So.
And we love when he visits.
Yeah. And our first firm, the way we kind of ended up down here, you kind of touched on a little bit, Mark, at the beginning, but our home firm is in downtown West Jefferson.
Right.
And which is the high country. We serviced mainly Ashe, Avery, and Watauga counties, from Banner Elk, Blowing Rock, Boone, West Jefferson, Lansing, Jefferson, all those areas. And so many of our clients that were purchasing, second, third, fourth homes in the high country, this is where their primary residences are. And for years, I mean, I've had clients say, you guys need to come down around Charlotte, set up a satellite office. Last year, September, Helene hit, and I knew the market. I mean, it was kind of twofold. My kid was not going to be in school for a long time. That was huge for my wife and I. And I knew the market was going to be a little shaky, not a lot going on for unforeseen at the time, you know.
Right.
Luckily, I think things have recovered quicker and better than I thought originally. But I was like, hey, maybe it's a good time to go do that office everybody's been telling me to do for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I rented up the flagpole with the boss at home, my wife, and she's like, I'm up for it. Caleb will get to go to school. Let's do it. So we just started picking places and like driving to little towns and putting out feelers basically. And ended up here in Davidson. And I don't know if you've heard me share this, Tiffany, but it's been like I left home and came to home. I mean, it's been so connected. I mean, just like Courtney. I mean, I had never worked with Courtney or met her or spoke to her, and we were in the same market in the high country.
Close.
And then I moved down here, meet a new guy in the industry, and leads me to her, which, by the way, it seems like y'all have been working together a long time. Yeah.
Like it's obvious that it's kind of meant to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's part of the family. I mean, I tell everybody that works with us that's on our team, I mean, I've got my family at home that's inside my four walls. Then I've got my family at work. And then whoever's connected with me industry-wise, whether it's lawyers, title insurance companies, whatnot, I want it to be bigger than just a day-to-day routine thing.
Right.
And I mean, that relationship-based, I mean, that's how I've built my business.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in it now myself personally for 21 years. And, you know, a lot of brokers or realtors, real estate professionals, however you want to refer to them, they cold call, they send out flyers, whatever. I've done one flyer in my 21 years, and I'll never do another one again, probably. I just wasn't, impressed with the response.
Well, I can tell you don't need to. I mean, just to see, you know, Davidson being my community as well, you know, to be able to look at the town of Davidson's Instagram page and see the event sponsored by Regency on the lake already. You know, you're already making a difference to a town that you haven't even been in that long. So I can only imagine what you're doing up in the mountains and probably still are doing, just to know, you know, like I mentioned on Friday on the 4th, driving through town and seeing your tent up, just that y'all care so much already. And you're not just in, you're all in. So I just want to thank y'all for that, because it means a lot.
And obviously, I think you do a great job integrating not only your business, but also yourself into the community. And, you know, we're talking a little bit about networking, and networking for me is always key, but I always start networking with people I know, because those are the people that I trust. And for, almost the first 2 years that we were launching Ashmont, I never went into an office that I really didn't know without utilizing another attorney that I already had a relationship with or friends. And that's how I met Tiffany, through a friend, a mutual friend, Allison Blair. And so she's the one that introduced us. Obviously, we had connections that we didn't even realize you and I did. But, you know, that once we realized those connections, that was pretty easy. And then introducing you to Tiffany. And, you know, I think that's where it starts, because it makes it a lot easier. You trust those individuals for that networking platform. And it makes it a lot more enjoyable, both from a professional side as well as a business side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I would hang out with either one of y'all anytime and never talk about business.
Hang out with John?
Y'all may not want to hang out with me, but, I mean, you can tell what I did with you. I mean, I was like, hey, listen, Willie gets sick and you've got to be somewhere and, you know, you don't have help. I'm like, my wife, as long as she doesn't have something going on, take him over there, drop him off. Your mom and dad can come help out, whatnot. I mean, it's more than just work. I mean, you know, I feel like we're there for each other, y'all included. Random phone call. I mean, not only on the real estate side, which you all have been very responsive on the closing you're working on for us think it's on the 18th.
Yeah,
They
we're
will
excited.
want the enhanced policy, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've checked that box yet, but they will want that. But, and we're hoping to send more business your way as well.
We don't take any of it for granted, but we also don't expect it. We just appreciate the relationship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm looking forward to everything the future holds. Given, and Mark, something you didn't touch on, and now Brett told me this, so if it's incorrect, then you correct me. But he gave me kind of the freedom, if we suggested Ashmont and our clients were okay using them as their title insurance company, he said, if they don't want to designate where that money goes, if you want to designate to your charity of choice, let us know, as long as it meets the criteria that we're required by law to meet. We will donate money there on your behalf or your client's behalf. Am I explaining that correctly, or is there a little bit
no,
more
I think you did a good job.
Okay.
We always ask for the input because I think that way everybody's involved, and it means a lot to everybody from that aspect. But we ask for the input, and that's why we donate to so many charities. I mean, we've donated to well over 100 charities throughout the years, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, I don't want it just to be my choice. I want everybody to have some input, and it's more meaningful.
Oh, yeah. One thing that we gave a little to, and I'm hoping to get more involved in here, with us just coming off Independence Day, veterans. They're huge. And some friends of mine, actually, Paige Keselowski, Brad's wife, they have the Checkered Flag Foundation. And we went to their event that they had at the Kane Center earlier this year. And they provide service dogs to veterans who suffer from PTSD, et cetera, And I'm an animal lover anyway, dogs especially.
Yeah.
And veterans on top of that, it holds a big place in my heart. I mean, if it wasn't for those guys and our active military, none of us would enjoy the freedoms that a lot of us take for granted every day. But I haven't even mentioned that to you, but I would love, you see the success stories of these servicemen and women getting these dogs. And you're talking about guys that haven't left their house in years, and then they get paired with an animal, and then all of a sudden their life changes. They've got letters from children thanking them for, hey, thanks for giving me my dad back.
Yeah, we've had contributions go to Pets for Vets, which is very similar. And the thing I love about that is that it does hit on the animal aspect of the animal charitable aspect of it, as well as the veterans. So you're sort of getting 2 for 1 there. But yeah, I think you hit it right on hit the nail on the head when you're talking about the veterans, and any contribution that goes to the sacrifices that they've made and that they continue to make, I think is extremely important.
Oh, yeah. If you've ever traveled much, I've been in 30-some countries. Americans have a lot to be thankful and grateful for, is all I can say.
Absolutely.
And in my opinion, I think we do live in the best country in the world. In Davidson, I said it on the 4th of July up here. I was like, I think Davidson is absolutely one of the best towns in the world. It's so... I left what was home, roots home, and moved to Davidson and have been welcomed and accepted and made part of the community like overnight, really.
If you want to get involved, they will plug you in.
Oh, yeah.
And you grew up how far away?
In Cabarrus County.
In Cabarrus County, not far away, and you've seen it grow.
Yeah.
This whole area, the way that it's exploded, just over the past 10 years, but even a little bit before that, because I used to come down to Statesville here in Iredell County with my grandfather, and we go to what's it called, Big Daddy's, Big Daddy's Restaurant down River Road. And the only thing off the exit off of 77 was a gas station. And if you look at it now, the way that this area has just exploded all the way down 77 towards Charlotte, it's impressive. But the thing I love about Davidson is it still has that tiny, tight-knit community feel to it. And I was going to basketball camp there. I won't show my age, but 30 years ago. And I'll never forget. It hasn't really changed all that much of the little area around the campus that I love.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can remember being a teenager, and we'd come to Charlotte, and that was like big time, right? You really didn't start to feel like you were even getting into the city until you got to like Harris Boulevard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like at Harris, you're kind of like, yeah, maybe we're getting out of the country,
Yeah.
But I mean, everything around the lake here, none of it. Burkdale wasn't here. I mean, Huntersville was really non-existent.
Yeah.
A
lot of farms.
Yeah, a lot of farms, and but it has developed and grown. And back to Davidson, I think they've maintained growth really well.
They've done a good job.
And kind of, you don't want uncontrollable growth.
Right.
And that's something in the high country I hope that they're good at doing, especially in Ashe County.
Right.
Because Boone's exploded, out of control. Blowing Rock has changed tremendously from what it was.
Yep.
Banner Elk has kind of maintained its feel, I think. But West Jefferson, I think, is really in that kind of...
It's prime.
It's like
it's prime for it, yes.
But I just hope that we do it correct as a community.
And I think they will.
Yeah,
I think they will.
I do too. So, I mean, it's kind of, you hate to use the word controlled growth, but like you want some kind of, infrastructure planning efficiently while you have the growth. Because if you cut off the growth totally, it's no good.
You have to have the growth, but you have to maintain the charm of the city.
Yes.
It's almost, and I think Watauga County does a really good job of that. But you laugh when you see the bumper stickers that says, Boone sucks. Tell your friends, because they don't want too many people coming up there. But growth is inevitable; it's needed, but it just has to be methodical. It has to be the right approach, and I think they do a good job.
We were talking about the wind earlier, and I was up at Jefferson Landing 3 or 4 weeks ago and did a little shoot with Mark Vanoy, and I was telling him how I love being up there in the summer and down here in the winter just because of the weather. And he's like, well, Josh, if we didn't have the wind in Ashe County, we'd have 50 million people here. Because the wind that day was blowing like 40 miles an hour and we were on the golf course. Yeah. And he's like, thank God for the wind. It's kind of like your bumper sticker.
Exactly.
But I mean, they want the growth, and it's just kind of balancing it with keeping that. Same thing we got in Davidson. I mean, that would be perfect. So, but do you have questions for us before we peace out, or anything interesting you'd like to know?
Just an admonition to keep doing what you're doing. Y'all are doing great. You're a great addition to the community. Don't stop.
All righty. Mark?
I'll echo that, even though I'm not from this community. No, I mean, I know you've done a great job integrating yourself, as I mentioned before, and Tiffany is a great resource, and I think extremely accommodating. She always has been to me, and not just Tiffany, but her entire staff. They don't see me as someone coming in, what would you call it, from the industry. I mean, they treat me just as they would any of their clients, any of their employees.
It's nice. Unless there's something that makes it physically impossible for me to come say hi to you. Like, I want to. Like, I'm like, if I'm stuck on a call, I'm like, dang it, Mark's here and I want to go talk to Mark, but you won't stop talking to me on the,
Yeah, and I'll always respect that, because Tiffany, if I'm not mistaken, was the first attorney I ever met and worked with in this area, Iredell, Mecklenburg County, any of the surrounding counties, the very first one. And again, it was all because of an introduction from a friend. That's how I was going about my business then. So, it's something that I've loved to see evolve over the years. And again, it's more of a friendship than it is anything. But also, like I said before, it's not just you, it's your entire staff. So, where you're telling Josh to keep continue doing what he's doing, continue doing what you're doing. And I'd love to see, I joked with Tiffany, I guess it's during your all's open house. I'm not that great on social media. I don't know how to do YouTube, but somehow, I'm a follower of something else on YouTube, and your channel. And I don't know how I did it. But it's up there.
Thank you for that.
You've
Tiffany,
done a great job.
The thing I felt, you commented on Courtney and I and how it seems like we've kind of been together longer than we actually have. I mean, with you, this is literally like maybe the 3rd time we've been together in person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like I could turn anything over to you and have 0 questions. I mean, I have that level of trust with you.
Well, I appreciate
and I mean,
that.
It's just, those are the things like I hope people see in me, but that's how I choose who I work with too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like you have that connection, that feeling of just like, this is right, beyond like your expertise and profession. And I love that about you. And we're getting ready to do our first one. The one I mentioned is our first one. So
I'm excited.
I am too. That one's kind of close to home too. It's my
Yeah.
mother and father.
Well, you know what? I saw that last name and I said, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, and
Yep.
obviously they're with you. I mean,
That's a big compliment.
Yeah, it is. So. And Courtney, we're going to keep trucking.
Keep on
We're just
at
getting
it.
started.
Keep on keeping on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, thank y'all for being with us.
Thank you.
And you know where we're at. And you guys, the folks that are watching, we will have more episodes coming soon. Thank you again today for being with us. And we hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. Title insurance policy is a must. Enhanced policy is a must. Ashmont Title is my title insurance company of choice. So y'all have a great day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining this episode of Telling Our Stories. We hope you enjoyed today's show and episode. Please feel free to share with somebody that you think may enjoy it. Also like, subscribe, and share away. We've got more episodes coming in the future. Thanks again for joining us today.